Hey traders, so we're back here on the spreadsheet and you may notice that some things have changed. We went ahead and plugged in our numbers for the Euro-Canada trades for 2018 as well. And so the three pairs that I would suggest you starting your testing on are the Aussie dollar, the Euro-Canada, and the Canada Swiss. Now, personally, I trade this strategy on 6 different pairs, so that leaves you some room to grow, some room to find the other pairs that you'd like to trade as well. But at the same time, it gives you a great place to start when it comes to starting with these 3 pairs in your testing. And guys, it's per pair, per time frame when it comes to the amount of trades you need to test. And at a minimum, it would be at least 100. Personally, I have to test over 200 trades per pair to be comfortable and to be confident in that strategy. So that's something important that you need to reflect on. That's something that is completely decided by you, is how many trades do you need to see in historical data in order to be confident enough to trade this strategy in the future. Is it 100 or is it 500? And either way is okay. I know it seems like it'll take a lot of time, but it taking a lot of time is well worth it when it comes to creating that confidence and discipline that you need, that is necessary in order for you to actually be successful in trading. So again, per pair, per time frame, look at a minimum of 100 trades. There is no maximum. Look at a number that creates confidence in you, whether that's 100, 500, or 1,000, it makes no difference. So now let's take a look at what these 3 pairs on the pullback strategy produced in 2018 based on our rules-based system that we've created here in the transition phase of the course. As you can see, we have a 1-to-1 risk reward. That's what we're basing most of these on anyway. So we have a 1-to-1 risk reward. We have made over 1,169 pips on these 3 pairs, 44 total trades, 32 of those being wins, 12 being losses, giving a 72.7% winning percentage. Now, on average from my testing and trading personally, I get between a 60 and 65% winning percentage based on these pairs. So this is just being the fact that they performed really well in 2018 is the reason you see 72 here. If we had a larger sample size, I do not believe that number would be quite as high. But regardless, these 3 pairs have performed quite well here in the beginning of 2018. Starting balance of $10,000 with a 2% risk. We're going to talk about this here in just a second and how we can change that to affect our risk management plan and to affect our drawdown. Gave around a 47.8% return with a 5.9% drawdown. Now, in this video, what we're going to be talking about is optimizing your portfolio for the best pairs. And what are we looking for whenever we do that? Well, personally, I'm a very risk-averse person. If I'm looking to optimize this, let's say I only have 3 and I want to have 6, what I would do is test about 10 pairs. I would take all 10 of those pairs regardless of their win when it comes to total percentage gain. I would look at their winning percentage. I would pick the best 5 out of those 10. Again, I'm trying to add 3 pairs to this, so let's keep that in mind. I want to add, if you'll look over here with me, right over here, I want to add 3 pairs. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to test 10 different pairs. I'm going to pick the best 5. So now I have my best 5. We'll abbreviate with B5 when it comes to winning percentage. I want these 5 to be somewhere around 60 to 70% when it comes to their winning percentage using this strategy. And then I take those 5 and plug them in separately with my 3 that I already have. What I'm looking for when I'm plugging these in separately is this drawdown number. I want my max drawdown to either stay the same while I have a increase in my equity return, or my max drawdown to get even lower while I have an increase in my equity return. That's the way I optimize a portfolio. For me, it's way more important to have a smaller drawdown than it is to have a larger percentage gain over the course of my trading. So for me, I always look at that drawdown number. As I said, I may test 10 other pairs and then I would go ahead, pick the best 5 whenever it comes to a winning percentage. And out of those 5, I would plug them in one by one, doing the same thing we did before. Let's go ahead and do that. So what we would do is take all of these, right? We would take them, we would copy them, go over to our new spreadsheet that we created previously. This is not it, sorry guys. Here we go. Nope, gotta bring it over. Sorry about that. So we bring that over. This would be where we would plug in our 3. And then all we would do is add, let's say we want to test the pound New Zealand. So what we would do is add in the pound New Zealand data. Let's say it's one of the 5 best we found. Remember, we're testing 10, picking the 5 best out of winning percentage. Let's say the pound New Zealand performed really well and it was one of the 5. We would just add that in, and then we would copy this data that we added in and paste it back over on this spreadsheet, on our actual spreadsheet At that point, we would take a look at drawdown. Did drawdown go up? If so, did it go up to the point that we don't want to use the pound New Zealand? That's a pretty simple process, right? If this drawdown goes from 5% to 10%, then I'm not going to be using the pound New Zealand. That's not something I'm comfortable with. I'm not comfortable raising my drawdown by 5% just to get a little extra equity return. Now, if my equity return went to 100% while my drawdown went to 10, that's something that I may be comfortable with. So as you can see, this is a highly personal decision. This isn't something I can tell you the exact numbers to look for. And there's also no set in stone rules for how you manage your portfolio, for how you actually optimize your own portfolio. These are just some of the things that I look out for. So personally, if the pound New Zealand gave me, let's say, a 1% increase in max drawdown, let's say this number went to 6.9% or a 7% drawdown overall, but I gained an extra 20% when it comes to equity return. So then I'd have a 7% drawdown with a 67, or let's just call it a 70% equity return. That's something I would be okay with. So as you can see, what I'm looking for is pairs that do not raise my max drawdown a very large amount at all, yet give me a pretty nice increase when it comes to my total percentage gain. So I would do that with the pound New Zealand. And then if I wanted to be trading 6 pairs, I would do that with the other 4 top pairs. Remember, we were looking at 5 top pairs when it comes to winning percentage. I would do the same thing with the other 4. I would take and put them in one by one, and each time, if they raised my max drawdown to a point that I was uncomfortable with, I would discount that pair. If they raised my max drawdown to a point I was comfortable with while giving me more percentage gain, again, something that I'm comfortable with, then I would pick that pair and leave it in my portfolio. And that would be the way to optimize a portfolio. We would do it the same way that we just looked at. We'd take all this data, put it into a brand new sheet, add our new data, our new tested data from those top 5 pairs one by one, and see how that affects the drawdown and the total percentage gain. And we would base our portfolio, based our optimization on those 2 figures. So this is something that a lot of traders talk about on free outlets like YouTube. And surprisingly, after taking a lot of Forex courses myself, I realized that no one actually talks about how to do this. No one actually talks about the way of optimizing a portfolio, which is an extremely important part of trading. It's very important to optimize your portfolio to give you the best chance when it comes to a drawdown that's within your comfort level, and to give you the highest equity return on the pairs you decide to trade. So with that being the case, I wanted to make sure that I threw that in here in this course. And now at this point, you not only have the strategy you need, a rules-based system, you not only know exactly how to backtest that rules-based system, you not only have a spreadsheet capable of calculating everything for you after plugging in your backtesting results, you now know also how to sort those backtesting results correctly so that they are as similar as possible to real trading. And now you know how to optimize for the best pairs. Guys, we're getting close. We're getting close to you being able to take this strategy and create your own trading plan around it, which is something we're going to do in the next few videos. Next up, directly after this, now that we know how to optimize the trading strategy, after you have optimized your pairs, the next thing you're going to want to do is create a risk management plan based around those optimized pairs. So in the next video, we'll talk about the aspects of a risk management plan. There's no way for me to actually tell you what your risk should be, because again, guys, some of this stuff is extremely personal. Some of this is very, very personalized, and there's no way I can know your risk tolerance, nor do I know your specific financial situation. That's something you have to assess. And if you're confused about any of that, or about how much risk you should take per trade or risk capital in general, then I would suggest 1, doing a lot of research on risk capital, doing a lot of research on risk management. 2, seek help from a licensed professional financial advisor. I am not one of those guys. I'm not a licensed professional financial advisor. I don't know how to tell you what you should be risking based on your financial situation. What I'm sharing with you is the knowledge I have based on my own personal experience alone. So guys, in the next video, we'll talk about risk management. Following that, some money management talk. And then finally, we'll dive into actually creating a trading plan around everything we've learned. And then we'll be ready to demo test until we're comfortable. And then even after that, as soon as you're comfortable doing so, you'll be ready to trade live. So let's go ahead and move on to the next video, and I'll see you guys there.